That's right, and we get a first phase Invoker coming out here. So clearly removing some of the stuff that
RNG's
Invoker isn't
turn to
super great at
ban.
dealing with. The TA leads me to believe it'll be a bit
Radiant
more of a
team
Quaswex
ban.
style of Invoker. Cold Snap doesn't really deal with the refraction very well at all. Sven, Lycan, these are heroes that kind of just want to start running at you, and super early on before you've got, let's say, the Hex or even an Orchid, it's not even something that
Radiant
an
team
Invoker can
pick.
deal with very well. So they're taken out of their hands. Not too often that you see it again. First phase though.
It's because it's these stones though. That's the reason
Yeah.
why. Aster, any other team have been prioritizing Voker in the first phase, no matter what. Because if you don't, these stones will pick it up. And this is a hero that
10 seconds remaining.
he was. People were introduced to him in the scene
5
by his
seconds
Invoker,
remaining.
and there is a big reason why.
RNG's turn to
Sure, but I mean, now you've got an Abaddon to deal with, right? Like all of this lockdown that you have, as long as the silence
RNG.
doesn't go off, you're
Radiant
totally
team.
fine. All right, well, RNG, they're going for a little bit more of the style that I was hoping for. Darkseer being paired together with a Nyx Assassin, making it incredibly strong. Undying, it's probably a position 5, but I mean, it could be a 1. You never know. Come on, do it.
10 seconds remaining.
They surely can't anti-mage, right? I
5
still don't have a
seconds
real good
remaining.
read on if this hero is good or not, but this looks like quite the anti-mage game. And you can then ban
More
out
RNG's
any
Aster.
carries.
turn to ban.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, they don't have a lot of lockdown to stop the Morphling from getting attribute shift off. You can play your distance away from the Darkseer. I'm a little bit worried that maybe level
10
2, level
seconds.
3
Radiant
RNG
team.
could
RNG's
get a
turn to
couple
ban.
kills in that lane, and then that will really hinder how the Morphling will perform. Like, if he can get out of that weakness, then he should be fine in the laning stage, but it can definitely snowball out if he dies a couple times.
I'm just trying to think here, like, what exactly God King will want to
Radiant
play. Like,
team ban.
it's a bit of a meme. It's probably not going to be the Undying, but
RNG's turn to pick.
they're removing the anti-mage themselves. I mean, Deuce is still in the pool. It's not great, but can deal with the Morphling somewhat. They're lacking a fair bit of damage right now on Aster.Aries, and I feel like with the heals that you can get from the Undying, he's probably going to build into a Holy Locket.
10
You're going to have
seconds
a lot more
remaining.
teamfight control. I think Deuce isn't horrible.
They could drow.
5 seconds remaining.
They could drow.
It's very good with the
Could they
Undying.
clinks?
They could also clinks as well. You can either go and try and outrange the Morphling because you have also quite a few heroes that can play in front of him. You can also then go down the route of a melee hero to be enabled by the Darkseer Surge and Iron Shell. So there's multiple routes to go here for RNG.
Radiant team pick.
So they go the ranged and fast pace, not
First time new hero Pog champion.
shit. Yeah.
Was he changed? I feel like maybe Wrath of Nature got touched slightly, but other than that, I can't think of anything yet. Damage per kill increased from 4, 5, 6, and it levels up in the ultimate just to flat 6. So slight buff there, and they nerfed
5
the treant
seconds
base
remaining.
HP regen. And the vision range was reduced on Sprout. So
Conk.
it's not amazing. I mean, I'm trying to like, what's the reason for this Nature's Prophet? Because Morphling can get out of it, the Sprout, of course. So it's not like you've countered the carry matchup.
But
Abaddon,
like no one kills the treants and they just take objectives super early.
with just a Prophet though. Darkseer, Undying, and Nyx don't do anything for taking towers.
They want to fight early. Like they're very like Darkseer can go pipe, or if he wants a utility item, he can go that. Undying has a crap load of sustain. Nyx with the surge can help a lot easier to find his stun lock. Invoker, if they want to scale a little bit more, can go Exort, but if he wants to go all in on this early game push, can go Quaswex. I think Aster are now thinking if they want to have the DK as their position 3 or 2, which either doesn't feel the greatest.
You may
But
now select your heroes.
this is...
This is another first?
Yeah, we haven't seen the Brood. It's also a position 2 Brood Mother as well. Huh.
Into D stones, huh? I mean,
Wow,
it's
what do you do
okay
now?
in the laning phase. I mean, they buffed up the insatiable hunger again, so you've got a decent amount of sustain in the lane. But it's not like I feel like Broodmother overall. They also buffed up her agi gain, I think, by like 0.4 per level. Um, this isn't the lineup for mine that's going to take full advantage of what I think is good about the Broodmother, which is her new Aghanim Scepter. The what is it called? Like Silken Wall or something like
I've
that? Let me have a
it's
look.
bonkers. I don't know what the hell it is, but it looks
Uh,
crazy.
Spinner's Snare.
Cool.
And
Not
when we
gonna
get into
remember that.
game, you can hover over it because
Yeah.
it's about 50 paragraphs long. But essentially, what it is, it's like think of a wall of web that you could plant, kind of like a Darkseer wall of replica, and it's invisible to the enemy team and you can't kill it either if you're on the enemy team. So if you walk through it, it triggers something on the minimap so everyone knows that you're there. And the way that I envision it is that it takes you a while to get to the ag, sure, but once you've got it, you've just completely secured map control for your side of the map because you can just like web off these entrance points to the places where the enemy team might be wanting to gank you, and then it just makes it so hard. Like you're funneling them into like 1 or 2 points, so you can set yourself up perfectly every single time, unless like the entire team goes a blink dagger and goes over the top of the walls.
So we haven't, like you're saying, first couple of heroes that we've been seeing so far, Brood and Nature's Prophet in particular. I don't know how the Brood's going to play this game. He's not against any counters at all. I was theorizing in my head, maybe they put the Darkseer mid, but if they do that, then you have an Invoker side lane, and that sounds horrible, so I kind of just stopped theory crafting that one. There's big issues right now with how they're able to deal with the Broodmother. I think that as soon as I saw it picked up, was a bit concerned because I thought RNG could just push down the opposite map and Brood can not easily connect with a defense. Like he's not someone who's very good at defending towers. He wants to be the aggressor and completely controlling the enemy's jungle. So that was my concern when I saw it. But because it's now played as a position 2, it will be a lot easier in regards to where his webs will be spread out through the middle of the map. So maybe that might make it somewhat easier to connect. That's my
Yeah,
only concern. It looks like a pretty good Brood game though. Like there's no real
it
counter.
is. You need to go the Maelstrom on the Nature's Prophet now, right? To be able to deal with it, just for some level of counter push, because with the Darkseer, you can just run away from any kind of Ion Shell. Nyx doesn't deal with it at all. Maybe the Undying, if he maxes out the Decay, can somewhat deal with it. But you've still got a healthy amount of magic resist on the Spiderlings and the Spiderites. And then Invoker, same sort of story, right? You can just run away as soon as any kind of spells are attempted to be cast onto the spiders. So it should be a fair amount of map control for Aster.Aries that they've got as a result of this Broodmother, and that's exactly what you want with this last pick. I'm interested to see how this turns out. You know, if there ever was a game for a Broodmother with the how heavily she was hit with a nerf bat, it's probably this one.
Have you seen like any Broods in any pubs or anything or any other games? Maybe like ESL. I don't think I've seen any,
Nope.
but yeah. So we're both of us. This is going to be at least our first time really getting a
I
feel
want
of
to see the
this.
snare. I want to see the snare. Like,
Yeah.
I've tested it in lobbies. That's about it, you know. But just like for example, have a look at where would they place it potentially for the Broodmother. I mean, if you're looking to contest around Roche, for example, right, and RNG, they're a team that, you know, they're happy to take a team fight around the Roche pit, but they probably still want to pick off before they can do it. You just put the spinner snare up on the ramp next to the Roche pit, and then either on the right or the left, and there's basically no way that RNG can come up into you prior to the Roche attempt, right? So you can put a Zervoort up on the high ground. That covers the left side, putting a Baton on the left side as well, so any kind of smoke is popped immediately, and then you've just got complete safety on that high ground.
How we feel about this game? Again, some new heroes and D-Stones on his very comfortable Invoker, but it also means that Ulu is picking up his comfortable Morphling, which was a hero he played very well in the qualifiers for TI.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds to
He's just
battle.
already queued everything up. He's gone straight into that Morbid Mask. He realizes that, he's going to be copping a tiny bit of harass in the lane. It's you don't have the greatest range on a Morphling, and you're going to have that Ion Shell creep pushing into you underneath the tower, so you need some way to sustain yourself. As Siamese Cat is getting gone on a little bit here, but the 5v5 turnaround, it's happening.
Is it Siamese Cat or Felix that's getting gone on at the moment? Sure, just yet.
The battle begins.
One thing for RNG is that they don't have the greatest stuns across the map to enable Sunstrike, so D-Stones is going to have to be pretty on point without any assistance to land this big global potential. That's one
they
thing.
Got the Sprout though, right?
They do, but I believe you just go Quelling Blade. Unless he sprouts and then treants. Yeah, so whenever I take a look at an Invoker and if they go Exort, you always want to see if there's any stuns across the map, because we've seen, through tournament after tournament, and honestly, like whenever we watch Miracle Invoker and, when he was, with Mind Control and how much they could do across the map from just like one stunning hero and with like a burst epi or like a support like Lion that can roam around, blink in, stun finger, and then Sunstrike, and then there's your kills. But for RNG, they don't really have that capability, so it's really going to be off the back of just being a God King and a God tier Invoker player.
I mean, it's one of those things where you really, as a Exort Invoker, you don't want to be moving from this mid lane unless it's like a guaranteed way to get a couple of kills. You just want to be securing this farm for yourself, pushing waves out. You're going to get your Midas, so just stick around, make sure you're using them onto a couple of neutral camps. Top side, there's a little bit of a dive happening with God King and Red Panda, a very strong lineup, especially with that Soul Rip. You're always going to have a number of units to be able to get that extra damage in on with the Treants, of course.
So this does, at least with the Exort Invoker, gives them some way to scale further into the late game as well. If he went Quaswex and no Midas, then he wouldn't have made it too far bot lane.
Sunstrike.
There it is. Okay, well, the one stun they have, they use it to perfection.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, like, well, he's gone pretty deep in here on Siamese Cat. Sure, he had the Aphotic Shield, but yeah, Felix Chaba, all it takes is a turnaround from that Impale, and that's a very valuable kill to be giving over to someone who's as strong as D-Stones.
And he was struggling pretty heavily through this first wave. You see 14-3 on Phoenix compared to the 5-1. D-Stones was getting absolutely ripped apart in these first couple of waves. It's going to get a lot easier now once the Exort starts to pick up, and he can even utilize the Forge Spirits too for some extra damage.
Just allows him to finish up a completely second Null Talisman coming through to him, so a lot more harass for the laning stage. That Insatiable Hunger still has quite a long cooldown, right? So every 40 to 30 seconds, you're going to be able to get a good amount of harass.
Alright. How's Life and Death doing at the moment?
You're not getting that.
It's pretty solid. Still, we saw previously the Undying versus DK matchup, maybe even yesterday or the day before, and I was very surprised at how much the Dragon Knight was able to get out of that lane. As Life and Death is falling there.
Thank you.
So they've done a very good job to keep the equilibrium in the favor of the Dragon Knight at the moment, so he's getting a lot of experience out of this. Siamese Cat. A bit of a battle occurring down bot. Sunstrike coming into play again and doesn't sidestep out of the range, and D-Stones getting involved. His second kill of the game. At least Ulu will find some revenge. The retribution of killing off Flyby's Darkseer, but he's hitting the board for the first time this game on the Morphling.
And he's finally been able to pick up that Mask of Madness as well, so now might even... there's not going to be any pulls or stacks going on, unfortunately. Siamese Cat will just give him the full salve, though, which is always going to be useful. And Sunstrike coming off cooldown again. Probably another 20 or so seconds.
Definitely, with how I was speaking about before, was not anticipating D-Stones have 2 kills already, but this is such you love to see for Invoker players. I mean, you really, like you were saying before, like, you don't want to lead this lane. You're really playing for your own farm, shove it out, play the jungle, get this Midas, get the Aghanims as well. It's not just the Midas. It's a hero that really needs a couple of items till he wants to get active. but then his damage skyrockets.
And that is one of the benefits of having this Nature's Prophet, right? You've got the Invoker who wants to sit in that lane. Nature's Prophet can go anywhere and suddenly turn a dual lane into a tri-lane. You can see he's heavily pushing out this lane, so they're not going to have this tower be put under any sort of significant threat on the top side. So God King might opt to wait for his power trades to be completed first before he looks to make any rotation towards the bottom side. But yeah, looking pretty good for RNG so far.
Yeah, now my one concern coming through very shortly is once Phoenix hits level 6. I think this is going to be a bit of an issue here for RNG, and I don't know if D-Stones will have to just go for an early point in Wex for the potential of the meatball, or if you put flyby mid. Like, there is some real issues that are going to occur in the next minute.
Even just the value point of having the Deafening Blast as well, I think, is pretty significant, right? You've still got the Silken Bowler in combination together with all of the Spiderlings is kind of significant.
In trouble here.
There it is.
It's the double support rotation by the catapult timing. It's just methodical. Every China team is continuing to do it, and you recognize D-Stones knew this was coming. He leveled up the Wex, dropped the meteor down, but Radiant, a beautiful use of their glyph, enables the Invoker just to stick around for a little bit too long. And now this lane, I mean, how do you come back to it? He's going to have more Spiderlings, still the catapult wave, and there's no answers at the moment. Like Siamese Cat, he's in a perfect position to scout out the rotation from bot, maybe even find the bounty rune as well, and Baku's still sticking around mid, so this was my worries, and it's coming into fruition now.
As well. I know you don't want to leave the lane, but I feel like that TP coming through to the tier 2 tower is a little bit of a waste. You know, you're only saving yourself about, I don't know, 5 or so seconds, considering he has finished up the Boots of Speed, and I feel like the lack of being able to rotate, perhaps towards this top side, might hurt them a fair amount.
Huh. I'm now actually really worried. What do you do from RNG? Because Invoker needs farm, he needs a jungle, he now doesn't have his tier 1 tower, which makes it easier for them to infiltrate in the jungle.
He waited a fair amount though before using the Dragon Tail, I suppose just feeling that they're lacking in damage still somewhat. I mean, yeah, okay, well they're at least able to take this with the Ion Shell, the stack being cleared out before Aster.Aries look to invade into the Dire jungle.
Yeah, alright, D-Stones ain't got a game. God King up top. Drop the Tombstone, flyby, along with Felix are looking to connect, but as long as they target down the Tombstone, it's a lot of control through this team fight. Baku will still end up getting dragged back to his demise, and now with the Dragon Knight as well, looking for an escape route through the tree lane. Felix, can he line up the stun? Just does, clips it from out of range there, but now Ulu looking to get involved as well, playing around with the Darkseid replicate. Beautiful back, but the damage, nothing left in the tank until the Broodmother looking to get involved here from Phoenix, cutting off the avenue of retreat, runs straight into the courier, straight into Red Panda as well. A little Brewlings can do the work. Red Panda, yep, still gonna fall. Okay, we got big mama issues here. What the? Wait, what? Were you watching Brood there? Or were you watching Sunstrike?
I saw the Ion Shell stuff. Hitting on the Brewlings.
Yeah, what the hell? How the hell did he do? He legitimately split like every individual one. That's what it looked like, at least. I don't know what that was. My dudes must be one hell of a Broodmother player to split all of them like that.
I mean, I'm not a control groups kind of guy, you know. It's
he had like 10 control groups from what it looked like. Like legitimately, he had 2 spiders on like individual group. I don't know. That was kind of bonkers.
You know, there's 2 types of Dota players. You know, you can either be a
sweaty nerd,
control group soy, or a box dragging Chad. And I feel like I'm the box dragging Chad style.
You sure that's a Chad? I don't know.
Chad is a state of mind, you know.
Okay. I feel like the Brood is encompassing all of that at the moment with his start to the game, top of the net worth. It's going to be an incredible Orchid timing, and I mean, RNG, I think their potential way back in this game is this +1 effect that we're going to see from the Nature's Prophet. Beautiful Sunstrike as well. And I really think Darkseid needs to help out to enable them. Like, the Iron Shell damage, and once he gets that surge a higher level, can enable them to maybe get some pickoffs and then reset after that. But I am they really have to get out of dodge because this jungle is not going to be easy to recontrol now.
Radiant's bottom tower
No,
has
and
fallen.
they're playing on the bottom side of the map, so they're doing exactly what they
Dire's
need
middle
to. They
tower
finished
is
up the
under
Midas
attack.
at least on D-Stones, so he's going to be able to scale somewhat now in that aspect. But it's just going to become so difficult for him. They're not lacking in control either, right? You've got this Dragon Knight, you've got this Lion that are going to be building into the Blink Daggers themselves. So even with that Boots of Travel, when D-Stones is going to be up on this top side of the map, I mean, Broodmother can just park herself anywhere between Dire's tier 2 top and mid and just play everywhere to the left of that, and he's going to have just a fine time.
Yep. Looks like...
Radiant's bottom
So maybe
tower
once
is
they
under
pick up the
attack.
blink here on life and death, it might make it a little bit easier for them to continue to build on the lead they have at the moment on Aster.Aries. It's very minimal, but meanwhile with all this space, Ulu's gonna take a nice
Radiant's
stack
bottom
away at the
tower is under
Ancients,
attack.
and he's going for the
One thing, though,
E-Blade.
I don't hate it. I mean, they've got a good amount of burst magic damage, I suppose. You know, if you're able to get it up, all of the early pressure that they're able to put on, RNG are playing for a bit more of the late game, of course. Like, they've got good scaling, Cataclysm combined together with a Vac Wall is always going to be quite significant. I mean, that's the other big X factor that we've yet to talk about. Flyby. On his Darkseer, so many solid performances coming out from him. Can he do it again? I mean, up until a couple of minutes ago, he was comfortably in the lead on the net worth front for his team.
Dire's middle tower is
It's
under
going to
attack.
take another A-tier performance, though, from him to be able to bring him back into this.
They're gonna try and kill off the DK top, and it looks like Felix, well, that was a lot more damage than I was expecting with a Vendetta. They didn't even need the Sunstrike, so this is how I feel like RNG can... Do you believe they just have to continue to delay the game? Like, are you on that train as well?
Yeah, delay the game as much as possible, get that Ags available, and, you know, even the Undying, right? You don't even need... He's going up phase boots? Alright, Red Panda. It's a little unorthodox.
Huh. They're
They
actually
get another kill,
hand
Flyby.
fighting. Wait, look at how strong they are. Okay, so these two together, they gotta continue to play around with the wall. Felix is still sticking around, but even Ulu looking a waveform forward. How Vendetta's on
Spider
a
boys.
big cooldown.
Run away.
So Flyby got Surge? He does, but Ulu should be able to block the retreat. Flyby's got to use the Surge for himself, but I mean, I don't think they really care about that, considering they bring a couple of heroes top. They did get those 2 kills, and meanwhile, God King is, I think, Maelstrom completed. Meanwhile,
Yep.
as well, with these stones, he's got Boots of Travel, so this is going to further enable kind of the lane
Radiant's
shoving
middle
and
tower is under
split pushing-esque rat Dota that RNG want at the moment.
I mean, this is rat v rat, right? Like, Lion can't deal with split push, Abaddon can't deal with split push, Broodmother doesn't want to deal with split push because she's got her job to be doing the same thing. So everything is on the DK, I suppose, and the Lion as well, rotating through together, and then the kill potential that comes with the Morphling. So, yeah, wisely enough, God King, he's going for the BKB next. He wants it to have a good amount of vision in the area so that he can scout out any gank attempts onto his life, and then just BKB TP away. Just stall out the game longer and longer. You don't care if you're using those BKB charges super early. Obviously, it's not ideal, but
Dire are
going into the
scanning.
Ags next on D-Stones here. You can see another rotation coming through. Felix Chauba with the Ion Shell on top of him. If they can find the Broodmother, that would be the most ideal pick-off. They have to be careful, though. They're walking kind of underneath vision.
Yeah, the big issue is getting on top of the Brood. That's one of the issues that, with how mobile she's in the webs, as Darkseer just gets the Surge. Didn't they change one of how... Hang on, I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, so the spin web, that when you fall lower, it reduces your speed,
Radiant's
right?
bottom tower is under
Oh, actually, hang on, got a fight breaking out. If Undying can get the Tombstone off, this might be a decent spot for RNG to take the team fight as they're dropping everything to kill up Baku. He's actually not going to tick off to the
again.
meteor, but that's another great use of the wall. It's going to push Aster.Aries further and further away. Same as Cat, though, should be the consequence to pay at the moment here. They haven't even brought him down just yet, but Flyby with the Surge up and the Iron Shell just finally falls. But Flyby is heavily committed in. He's got a TP, he's going to try and go out with the high ground. Ulu, Adaptive Strike just makes it. So they have the Council there. And a 1-for-1 trade nonetheless. That is your position 3 for the support.
Did you say the Council? Or the count.
I meant count.
Sounds
I
like
did.
some
I
Star
did.
Wars thing. The council will decide your fate.
I didn't. Yeah, I think
Radiant's bottom tower is under
the
attack.
seal came in there at the end accidentally.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to. So what they do to the webs? So yeah, it depends on your health. Okay. So usually with Broodmother, it was very difficult to catch her unless you instantly get on top of her because how mobile she is. Now it might be a little bit more different though because your movement speed depends on your health. So I wonder how the counters, how that's going to come into effect. But I still feel like it's very similar to previously where you need this like blink, instant jump on him, then a stun, and then the follow-up afterwards. And they don't have that right now.
No, they don't. And, well, they're finally starting to build up some more levels on Red Panda and God King. He's finished up his Dragonlance as well, but look at those big items coming out for Aster.Aries. The Blink Dagger is going to enable this kill threat onto God King. He's switched up from going into the BKB. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. You know, the Dragonlance is fine. It enables you to scale quite well. You can, you know, push from a slightly safer distance, gives you some very good stats value. But my issue is that if you get gone on, you've got no recourse. You know, he needs to have that BKB available so you can get the disassemble value.
Oh, God King.
Panda's going to be the one tanking the gank, and well, they still know he's here.
He's going to attempt to TP up, but they've got the answer once again from Ulu's adaptive strike, and now the silence as well will further get rid of the opportunity for that TP. So I don't know how Red Panda made it away. I guess they just left him and were like, okay, this is a more valuable target. Let's just bring down the Furion.
He just ran to the left. He didn't even TP.
Dude,
Dire's middle tower
look at this
is under
micro.
attack.
Okay, this brood is...
Spiders, all the...
What
is
the
that, purple
hell?
on the map?
Yeah, yeah. They...
Radiant's top tower is under
Are they going to be
attack.
able to take T1 top?
Dire's
No, it's got
structures
way
are
too much health. How close is D-Stones to Aghanims? He's still about 1,000 away from her. My issue is that
Flyby's
like...
got it.
Flyby's got
Dire's
Ags?
bottom tower is
Oh
under
wow,
attack.
okay.
I'm telling you, this man is like
He's a very good Darkseer player.
top 3 Darkseers
Yeah,
in the world.
yeah, yeah.
I would give him, like,
Dire's
mind control
middle
him
tower
and
is
Mizu.
under attack.
1, 2, and 3 for
Radiant's
mine.
top tower
Not in any
has
order.
fallen.
So
Dire's middle
it's a
tower
very
has
even
fallen.
game in regards to the net worth, and it
Dire's
feels like how
bottom
either
tower is
teams
under
are
attack.
with 9-7 to kill count. Do you feel like there's a team that is happier with the status quo of this game? Because even though Radiant just got that tier 2 tower, like it does feel like this one is
Radiant's top
going
tower
to
is
get to the
under
later
attack.
stage. So who do you feel like will scale a little
Dire's
bit better?
bottom tower has fallen.
I think the scaling favors RNG just because, well, it depends, right? If God King... Will he go
Dire's
for a
bottom
Witchblade this
tower
game?
is under
I feel like
attack.
it is one of those abilities that really synergizes with the items that you want to go on a Nature's Prophet. You know, you want to build up a ton of intelligence, it scales amazingly, it provides you with that extra projectile speed as well, and you know, could enable them to scale quite well with
Radiant's
the
top tower is under attack.
TP rotation coming
Dire's
through here from the
bottom tower
Dragonite.
is
They
under
might be
attack.
trying to get a bit of a blink here, but he's
Jump
blinking
in,
it to 4.
DK. He's going to have the Sunstrike land straight on his head as well. The Dragonite tried to start the fight, but he's going to be the first one to fall. They'll even up with the Darkseer kill as well, but they haven't dealt with the Tombstone, so RNG feels superior to take the fight near the area, but they still have to keep in mind that there's a tier 2 tower standing. They don't want to dive too heavily deep in this lane, so a 1-for-1 trading. Both offlaners here. Darkseer is a little bit higher up on the net worth, however.
Again, another... Oh, he's trying to catch him when he's Agimorphed. Nice attempt there, coming through by D-Stones to catch out Ulu. But again, another good performance from Baku in that team fight. Realizing the importance of taking out the Darkseer, who by far is RNG's most important hero right now.
To the spiders. What's going on? Phoenix is spreading
Information
It's
everywhere.
crazy. Feel it?
You know what? You keep casting the game. I am going to go and watch the player perspective of
Okay,
Phoenix for a
dope,
little
dope,
bit.
dope. They just killed off the Aegis. How long did I have left? Another minute 20, so nice play there. Ulu going into
Was
the...
that a Sunstrike?
Yeah, it was the Impale into Sunstrike, so a little bit easier of a setup instead of him just going for the guessing game like he was before.
Radiant's bottom
It's-
tower is under attack.
I'm still also questioning how this game goes late game, because I think Morphling is the
One of the
one of the better late game heroes, and Nature's Prophet is like a little
Radiant's bottom tower
I think people
has
don't put
fallen.
enough respect on Nature's Prophet late game as position 1. I do not think he's going to scale as well as a Morphling though. But then it comes into play, like Invoker late game is pretty goddamn crazy, and it's also by far one of Desone's most comfortable
Radiant's
healers.
middle tower is
As
under attack.
Nyx Assassin will get caught out here. But then you also take a look at the rest of the lineup. I mean, Darkseer scales as the game goes on, considering how the Wall of Replica is going to come into play. But then, yeah, like, I'm really taking a look at this and seeing how I feel about it.
I mean, for me, the big timing for RNG is when they hit level 15 on Flyby. You know, he's
Radiant's
nearly got
top
his Blink
tower
Dagger,
is
but
under
at that
attack.
point, you're going to have the extra Wall of Replica illusion damage. You're going to have all your spells
Radiant's
maxed
top
out.
tower
The
has
vacuum
fallen.
AoE just makes life even easier, so you don't need to blink right into the middle of team fights, which is where you don't want to be against this heavy burst lineup. It's been burst down once already. Can't have it happening again. But when it gets to the late game, it's all just going to be about who gets the jump on who, right? Because you do have a ton of burst potential with the Wrath of Nature, Vac Wall, Cataclysm, Impale, and hell, let's even throw the Flesh Golem for that damage amplification in there for good measure.
Yeah, it does really feel like RNG, their late game execution should be a little bit easier than than Aster.Aries. It's Phoenix.
Found
Felix, there's
here.
the jump, and
That's the
they're going to
cutter.
reveal the Cataclysm, and that is enough to finally kill off the pesky Brood Mother.
I mean, what we were saying before, right? He has this really advantageous position inside the dire jungle, but he just opts to go for the one safe place that they've had this entire time, the triangle. I think that was the first time anyone on Aster.Aries
Radiant's
tried to make a
middle tower
rotation
is under
through to this
attack.
area where God King, he just wants to set himself up.
Radiant's
He's got
middle
his Wrath of
tower
Nature
has
available
fallen.
in that 30 seconds. He can TP in at any time. This is the way that Neon got 6th place at the Singapore Major. Just playing their position 1 away from the rest of the team, getting the maximum value out of that Wrath of Nature while staying safe.
And now...
Man, that voice line from Dragon Knight just sounds so out of place.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Like, it definitely looks like a bit of a leak here. I mean, I must say, definitely it's...
What's that? I'm not
Radiant's
familiar.
I understand.
is
I
under
understand.
attack.
You know that there's. See, you're one of those people that I feel like there's two people. They don't say the disgraceful name of another MOBA like that, or people will just they'll chuck it out occasionally. I understand.
More of a Mobile Legends fan, you know.
Mobile Legends fan, yeah. Okay, cool. I don't know how
You ever
people
play
can.
Smite when you were?
Smite was so fun,
Yes.
fun. Like, I tried to play like a couple of years after I first started, and yeah, I don't know, the experience didn't go as well, but that was a very, very enjoyable game when it first came out.
Well, that micro on Phoenix is somewhat lacking now. He just fed like 20 different creeps into the double ion shell coming through there, so not sure what's going on.
He's all microed out. That has to be the reasoning. He's going Aghanims. He's got Dagon queued up, but he's already completed one of the components of the Ag, so I'm excited to see this. I know when as we casted on the first day of the patch release, and you were bringing up like, this seems kind of crazy, like even though Brood overall didn't have a good time in the patch, but this Aghanims looks bonkers as RNG, however.
I mean, yeah, you hovered over that spinner snare for about 2 seconds when it's an essay. To get
Yeah, you got to
through.
read a little bit longer, don't you? Baku jumped in onto the Undying. A great
Nice
two-man
stun.
stun as well. Clips off Flyby with the initiation, but does he have enough health to get any abilities off? Ulu playing around with his own Darkseer replica completely offers no opportunity for the wall or the vacuum counter initiation from RNG.
Baku's getting these amazing initiations off every single time. I'm not sure if did they have vision of that? They did. The smoke went off underneath the vision that the tombstone was providing, so they know this aggressive movement's happening.
And they're smoked
might
up.
be...
Backline. They
D-Stones.
missed Siamese Cat. I think they saw him on the high ground.
There he is.
His beacon is not completed as well. This is a really difficult task to dive in deep. But again, Ulu with this Darkseer replicate, and now D-Stones have no one nearby.
This Lion performance has been I don't want to say phenomenal. It's not gotten to that point yet, but he's just doing the exact right thing that he needs to do every single time, which is find that damn Darkseer. And you can see what it's done. I mean, he's killing another big wave of spiders off, which is always great, but he was going into the Lotus Orb for the longest time because he wanted to prevent the, whether it be the Invoker or the Nature's Prophet from getting the chain stun happening onto him by the Lion and the DK, but he's just like, you know, God damn it, I'm Flyby. This is my Darkseer, for God's sake. I need to live, so he switched into the BKB for himself.
It does feel like he is an incredibly key component to RNG's team fight. Like, if he doesn't get Vac wall off, then you're reducing the...
They don't have a team fight if that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, there's no real other way to put it, honestly. I was trying to kind of beat around the bush, but the team fight really heavily lacks unless he finds the execution. So, all eyes on his performance as the game goes on.
They're going in. Wrath of Nature's coming, but they're going to be able to back off just in time. Siamese Cat will be the one to break this,
but... they found them. Jump once again on the Nyx Assassin, however, but it's not on Red Panda or Flyby, so the Tombstone and also the potential of the Darkseer abilities could be clutch for them to come back into the fight, and there it is, Flyby. A jump on forward. There's no answer at the moment. D-Stone's a little bit too far away, but he's still going to drop the Cataclysm, which doesn't do as much damage. And now they're on top of God King on the backline as well. He doesn't have the Ice Guardy. Another multi-stun, locking them all in place. God King's going to try and force stuff into the TP up, but Baku, time and time again, this Lion is finding the clutch controls to stop RNG's opportunity from escaping, and they'll even find Red Panda as well.
Oof. It was a little bit slow on the Cataclysm. You know, it was a great Vac wall that got off, but the little bit of a delay, I think the Morphling had morphed into the Nyx Assassin, so he was able to morph into that, get the Spike Carapace off, and prevented him from dying to that Cata.
And who knows how different that could have been if Siamese Cat wasn't in that spot to put the sentry on the high ground at that timing. Because then life and death could swing on the backline. The Abaddon was like, if you're only seeing Abaddon and Dragonite, then not the heroes you want to drop your combo from on RNG. So just beautiful awareness once again. Like we've seen time and time again today. Like in the first series, it was super for Elephant with his positioning and popping smokes consistently. And then this game so far, the Abaddon is... And that's the role the Abaddon should always be playing. And he's been doing it so far very well.
He's even going to BKB for this Abaddon. That's kind of nutty.
They might kill off Siamese Cat bottom. They don't have the Vendetta. Huh. Just burn the mana, force him back to base, I guess. Be a nuisance.
Now, they don't have any silences right now on RNG. And they're all in on this, like, burst down sort of meta, right? So I feel like, what if Siamese Cat instead went for an Aghanim Scepter?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he gets that initial stun off with the Vac Wall, just pop the Borrowed Time manually, and then... I don't think Cataclysm is going to take out all of your HP. He's just going to be firing off those miscoils like mad.
So do you think that Aster.Aries should play off the back of looking to just survive the initial combo, and then once the ability's on cooldown, they can reset away from the wall, and then they should be able to succeed in a team fight?
I mean, they got two ways to go about it, right? Like, they can do that. They can play the full counter initiation game, which I feel like they've been doing very well, or they could just never let it happen by killing the Darkseer. And they've done both things to quite high effectiveness so far.
Dude, this is stupid. You've seen where the Brood was placing the...
Yep.
I don't even know what... I really don't know what it's called. But you were saying at the very start, you're like, if you... around a Roche pit, like, how do you contest that? Spin a snare.
You gotta come fully around to the left, and yeah. How long are you gonna hover over this one?
Yeah, I'll let people have a bit of a read. I'll let them have a read.
Dire's bottom tower
That's so stupid. It does so much damage as well. And you see where they are. Like, cool.
Mm-hmm. It just gives you a little exclamation mark on the map.
Baku?
Again, just a one-man stun though.
It's an aggressive jump. And it means that Ulu was still sticking by, but... Halberd is there, Morphling. Not able to kill the Tombstone until later on. Flyby's going to jump in now with the Cataclysm. That's the combo they're looking for. They'll burst through the Dragon Knight, but Ulu still hasn't lost his first life just yet, but the Cold Snap is unable to right-click anyone. Okay, round 2 now coming up shortly. Let's see if Ulu, if he can get out to safety here with a waveform, back down to the low ground, but he doesn't really have any backup there. They can push him back. Nice use of the Psyche headband from Felix, and there's no escape with his mana completely burnt away. There is the team fight execution that we've been harping on from RNG, and it's all off the back of Flyby's Darkseer.
I feel like you can't take that engagement just walking up into the high ground. I understand wanting to make the most use out of this Aegis, but you've got the map control. Like, Broodmother wasn't there for the majority of that push. He was kind of trying to rat in mid lane a little bit, but just going up onto high ground where you don't have vision, that feels like the big strength of their lineup right now is having complete understanding, but, you know, they're just kind of playing into RNG's hands, which is a little bit of the difference between the experience of these teams, I suppose.
I think it's really going to get to the stage where Aster.Aries have to rat. Like, your Brood needs to push in another lane, and then DK actually might be your tower sieger because of how higher range he is and how high and much tankier he is. Because if you jump like that, like you were saying, that's a perfect spot for RNG to take that fight. Lion goes in. Now you have the opportunity of getting a 2-man vac or even 3 considering the Dragonite was there. So you have got to be really cautious on Aster.Aries. You just need to put one person on higher ground sieging and maybe another person pushing top or mid to drag a hero from RNG to deal with that. And then you limit their power and strength.
Alright, so Elder Dragon form is now available for life and death on his Dragon Knight. So I think the next plan is, if they're looking to make that kind of play again... wait, hold on. I thought the... Doesn't it only have 2 charges, the spinner snare?
Good question. Don't know. Seems like he's been...
Max charges 2. I don't know how many...
I've seen a lot more. I've seen a lot more. I've seen like 3. Wait, hang on.
Look at this tier 2 mid. Look at the webs around it, man. How do you go into this?
Wait, so... Okay, so you can only hold 2.
Mid lane as well. Yeah, you can only hold 2, but you can have as many as you want. So it's kind of like the...
Oh, no, you can only have 5. You can only have 5.
Okay. Only.
20-second restore time. Like, yeah, okay. I still
Alright,
just...
so level 20 on the DK. He's looking to move forward.
Ooh,
I think
didn't go
they're
the
going
attack
on
range.
the high ground again. I think what he needs to do is he needs to come around the right side. Like, let's say they're pushing a bot tower. Go along the tree line, get it onto the back lines, blink in, use your BKB, get the Darkseer, and hopefully have the team join you. You know, get the Baku to come in, get that burst coming through from the Finger of Death.
Now, the only issue with that is you have to kill the Darkseer, and it sounds so simple, it's being like you have to kill the Darkseer, but if you don't, then you've heavily committed and there's no way you escape the high ground. So you have to be 100% sure that you are going to bring him down.
Yeah.
Dude, these... what the hell is, like... Red Pandas... Oh my... this is so stupid.
And they know it's there, but you can't attack it. So you just have to, like, either avoid it or put a expendable target into it to remove the snare.
Again, like, I don't really have a feel of Brood, because he had a very free lane, and they don't have Brood counters. So I feel like... the Ag seems great and all, but what does a hero still do after the early stage of the game?
Can you use the Treants to get rid of it? Guess not.
I think it's
there
just...
you go. He's revealed.
Baku? Oh.
BKB forced because of
Oh, they're going to drop the Dragonite. He himself answers with the BKB, but RNG have committed pretty heavily with multiple BKB usages.
You can see they're just playing around the right side, right? Like the squishier heroes, they're making sure that, look, if they're going to dive in, they're going to get caught inside that spinner snare.
Can't really contest around the triangle with that tombstone. Dude, it is...
There's no BKB on Darkseer, there's no BKB on the Invoker. So now might be a decent time, but I guess they're wanting the BKB on the Morphling as well.
It's a bit away. Do you like the Morphling going the BKB, or do you feel like he needs like mass amount of damage?
I think you just can't get caught in the vacuum. You need to be using it preemptively and just go in and try and burst them down without fear of getting your your damage burst interrupted, right? Like he's
Sure.
gone the E-Blade build. So you need to force BKBs or you need to get the chain lockdown happening. One of the two.
Well, they just completed the BKB on the Morphling, so he's going to TP back, and it looks like all of Aster.Aries will look for a reset. Or smoke and a target to find on RNG, but it's not going to be very easy as these lanes are getting pushed out.
How long of a game do you think we're in for here?
I reckon like 48 minutes.
48, huh?
Yeah.
You want to put some mate on that, or what?
I don't know. I'm not too dude. I don't have a very good read on this game. I'm not gonna like. I don't know. You want to put some mate on that? You just want to win your mate back. No, you know what? I know when to not keep putting my money down. You know, the
double or nothing.
Some of the trips to the casino has taught me that, you know, when you're up, and I'm happy with that. Phoenix.
Broodmother's in a very vulnerable position here.
Nice, got A on disc. Rest of the team looking to swing on over from the northern side, but now Phoenix. Flyby's going to jump in. Beautiful combination, the Cataclysm. The slow's going to be there, and they'll kill off the Broodmother. They want to target down the supports next as Baku. Still A on disc out, but meanwhile, Morphling just gets to safety with the waveform. Still, Lion's going to be the next target as Baku will fall. Siamese Cat's going to join him in as well.
Gems on the deck. You really need that Axe for mine with this Abaddon. You know, the Miscoil heal damage talent, he's got that as well. He's got 2,000 gold that he's sitting on, and a lot of it's going to waste right now. So much of it is just being lost in all of these different team fights where they're going down.
Quickly, before that fight, how long would you have said? Because I don't know if this game's going to end in the next 2 minutes.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I would have gone under for the 48 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's looking like that's the case at the moment here. RNG just one successful team fight. You see how fast they can push. Full set of barracks down bottom. They might get the tier 3 tower mid with the Alacrity Catapult, and well, yep, for some reason that still does a stupid amount of damage. And now they can go take Roshan.
Oh, with the refresher. And there's an Arcane Rune bot.
Wait, is his third Rosh?
Yep.
Oh, what the heck?
Second one they gave the it was Aster.Aries, and they lost the Aegis on the Morphling when they were pushing the tier 3 bot.
Yep, and they gave the shard to the Lion. So, what do we get? That was the blessing. Who's holding that? They gave it to the Undying. Ooh, because Nyx has got his completed.
So this is
Does everyone have this? Except the Prophet. That's about it.
I saw.
Let's go, Undying.
Dude, I saw in the Pro Series, I can't remember if it was CTM who did it. It might have been Enryu. He went Aghanims, so first item Aghanims on Nature's Prophet, and then Refresher Orb afterwards. Very, very interesting item build.
That is interesting. I mean, that's synergizing with Decay, and then you're just... What are you refreshing? The Tombstone? I guess. Well, level 3 Flesh Golem now. He's got that reduced cooldown on it as well.
Off to the side, Aster.Aries, they're all grouped up. Another Vac again. Not enough damage this time of the Cataclysm, but at least they're getting massive amount of illusions to have on their side for the big team fight that's continuing to break out as there's no escape for the Dragon Knight. Ulu, he's even caught in the Sprout, which beautifully sets up for the Tornado. Still doesn't actually have the BKB. Flyby's going to jump in once again. Another ball dropped, and Ulu falling low here. Photic Shield's going to give him some respectable health to play with at the moment. He's maxed out attribute shift, and he can't go any further as Ulu's down. Doesn't have a buyback left in the tank, and now they can do the dirty work of the objectives. And in fact, that's all she wrote. Aster.Aries have to call it quits in this game 1.
Radiant's top tower.
You hate to see a great performance like Baku put forward not rewarded with a victory. I think it was a good Broodmother last pick, but they just they made a few mistakes. You know, A, with how they sieged the high ground, B, with where Broodmother was playing, and I feel like some of the itemization wasn't quite there. I would have loved to see that Aghanim Scepter come through on the Abaddon, especially considering you weren't playing into any kind of silences. And even hell on the Broodmother, right? Going the Aeon Disc instead of the BKB meant that even if you survived the initial burst, you had a ton of damage still that's coming through consistently with the the Hex. That's just the right clicks coming through from the Invoker, as well as the Nature's Prophet. And well, the win probability and the net worth graph kind of tells the entire story. They had a very solid grasp of this game at the 30-minute mark until that push up onto the high ground that you just can't do that into a Darkseer.
I'll tell you what, very happy I didn't put my Mate on the line. Like I said, I know when I'm up, and I'll make sure that I don't make the mistake of falling back down to even. So I'll continue to hold the Mate from you whenever you want to give it to me. But with that, RNG, a beautiful game one victory from them. You know, it was back and forth. They had a solid laning Sage on the side of Aster.Aries, but just again get to the Sage with the team fight execution. We were putting a lot of emphasis on Flyby's Darkseer. He had quite the performance, and there just wasn't enough left in the tank for Aster.Aries. It felt like they had a couple of windows where maybe they could have taken this game, like you were saying, those high ground pushes, but once they fell short on them, the game started to really show how difficult it could be versus the RNG lineup, and it really came into fruition with some of those late game team fights there. That's only game one done and dusted here, Aster.Aries. Right now, I mean, this is their last series, and it looks like they're hoping to just close out on some, just to build up the chemistry.
They tried the memes. They tried the memes.
Yeah, I respect it. You know what? I respect the memes. They're on a new patch, seeing what they can do, building up the chemistry, having some fun. The Broodmother was not enough, unfortunately, but they did play solid overall. We'll see if they can hit back in game 2. Find out, though, after a short break.